take 4. Yes, take 4. I have so much welling up on the inside of me. I just have to share what God has birthed and purposed for me to say on this beautiful, awesome day. This is take 4 for Sonja's Soulsations. Earlier, my recording, full of information, but when I went back to listen, there is a lot of background noise, and it's just really hard to hear what I'm sharing with each of you. I may upload it, I may not. Secondly, as I was walking, so much of what I wanted to share is just so powerful that it needs to get out. And so I tried take 2, and literally I had to overcome a fear. A dog barking and chasing after me. So needless to say, take 2 didn't work. Take 3, I was once again being encouraged by God to share what is in my heart. And I thought I was recording. Well, no. So this is take 4. And what I want to say is so much. So I have to get this out. This is so therapeutic for me. I hope you find encouragement from Sonja's Soulsations. And I'm just grateful for the many ways that God chooses to use me. I was reminded last week and again earlier this week that I'm a spiritual warrior. There are times that we know something, we know it deep, and we know it all too well. However, it can slip our minds from time to time. And I'm grateful for Girl Trek reminding me that I am a spiritual warrior. Powerful Black History Boot Camp moment. Vanessa and Morgan reminding Black women that we are spiritual warriors. Earlier this week, I found myself confined in a locked space. I'll spare all of the details. I'll spare you all of that. But do know that I was in a confined, locked space for some time. Now, although minutes seemed like hours, it was traumatic to be in this locked, confined space. My emotions first were disbelief that this was happening. Fear did rise up in me. Tears did well up in my eyes. I cried out for help, but no one heard me. But the Spirit of God began to shift my thinking to remind me that I am to get into survival mode if I was going to get out of this locked, confined space. And I was able to do that. And God reminded me, as Girl Trek, that I am a spiritual warrior. God reminded me that I have been in confined spaces before. Have you? Have you ever found yourself in a confined space, a confined, locked space, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially? I have been in this space many times. Many times, even just now, someone, something, some circumstance will always try to stop you from the destiny that God has birthed and purposed for your life. I want to remind you, you are a spiritual warrior. I had to move past a barking dog chasing me to get to this space right here, right now. I had to move from disbelief of being in a confined, locked space to be in this sacred moment right here, right now. So I just want to encourage you all that you are a spiritual warrior. Do not allow anyone, anything, any fear, any barrier, any circumstance, anybody that has spoken negative words over your life to stop you from where God desires for you to be. Also, I want to let you all know that I have many experiences in my life where I've had to get into survival mode. So being in that confined space for me, although it seemed new and I was in disbelief, let me tell you, it was not unfamiliar. I have been many times in my life in survival mode, where I have claimed and echoed from the depths of my heart, I am a survivor and I am a spiritual warrior. I want to also talk about how sometimes we look at numbers to measure our success. If no one listens to Sonja Soulsations, if I only have 32 subscribers, I will still continue to do Sonja Soulsations because God asked me, implored me to do YouTube. So those of you who may listen, do not measure your success on numbers, on subscribers, on participants. Don't measure your success by numbers. Don't think that numbers measure your success, because it does not. I also want to let you all know that what I am finding that is working really well for me is walking. In this season, and for the past few years, walking has been an ebb and flow in my life. Sometimes I have done very well in my walking, and other times I have not. There's been Zumba and there's been boot camp in my life, but what is working well for me right now is walking. I can walk when I want to walk, how long I want to walk, where I want to walk. It is working for me. It's working well physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Find what works for you. Don't measure your success by someone else, what someone else is doing, how someone else is putting out their ministry, what they're doing. Don't compare yourself or measure yourself like that. Don't do it. Do you and be you. Do what works well for you. And then lastly, I want to share a lesson plan from one of my granddaughters. She, months ago, did a YouTube recording on truth, what was true about her identity, her life, her dreams, her aspirations. And I found her to be so captivating. And so I want to give a shout out to my granddaughter. And I want to take a page out of that lesson plan. Be who God has called you to be. Stay true to who you are and what works for you. And then you have to let people know who you are and who you're not. You have to let people know what will work for you and what will not. Many of you know that I've been on a journey of slowing down even more, not overbooking and overexerting and putting too much on my calendar. I'm learning how important that is in my own self-care journey. And I'm very protective of my self-care. And so kudos to my granddaughter. You have to remind yourself of who you are and who you are not. Stay true to what God has called you to be and to do. Don't try to be like everyone else. Be your authentic, beautiful self. Don't sell out to measure your success by the masses, but be true to who you are, even if you have to be your own audience, your own subscriber, your own cheerleader, your own supporter. And lastly, I said that earlier, I'll say it again. This is my last point. Stop letting people identify who you are. You know who you are. You know what you've been called to do. Don't let people bully you. Do not allow others to diminish your light or walk in your space and dismiss you. I had to do that just recently. I had to own up to say, you will not diminish my space through my actions. So don't let people, family or friends, co-workers, team members, church members, do not allow someone to diminish your light and to bully you and try to make you conform to who God has not called you to be. Thank you, God, for Sonja's Soulsations. This is your ministry. Thank you for letting me share what you've birthed and purposed in my heart to share. I am so grateful that I am a spiritual warrior walking by faith.